Candy on. Candy is actually someone who's going to be talking about being your real, true, authentic self and how that helped her close 50 transactions her first year in business. OMG, Candy, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're keeping it real in real estate, and this is honestly the real deal, because the main thing that you're going to be inspired by, hopefully, is that, I've built this business all by myself. I came from being a mom of a young baby, being a law enforcement officer, quitting my job, and then building a life from the ground up. From now I have a family, now I have a child. I have to realize how to grow my business without without giving up the mom part of things. So that's what got me into it. So I started in 2017, and on my slide here, I always like to know who I'm talking to, who the speaker is, what they've done for business. So I always like to do a little quick rundown. I got into real estate in November 2016. My first year in real estate, I did 5 designations. I got involved with the Young Professionals Network, Women's Council of Realtors, Veterans Council of Realtors, and the National Association of Hispanic Realtors. And then also I sold 50 properties to 50 families. I helped 50 families buy and sell homes over that year, and I won Rookie of the Year, which was my jumping point to the massive success I've been able to maintain, which is an average of over 100 transactions a year, because I've not even been in 5 years yet, and I've sold over 500 houses in the Tucson area with over $100 million in real estate. I've never had a large team. My team usually consists of a transaction coordinator, an admin, and a buyer's agent or 2. And right now it is a me and my admin type of world, and we are still killing it. 5 keys to massive, sustainable, scalable success. You want to be the real you. We're going to go deep into all of these. We want to build sustainable systems based off of your own way that you do business. So you can't plug and play from everybody else's business. You can take pieces and parts from other people, but you have to do what's going to work for you, because you can buy all the systems in the world and never use them and not go anywhere except for into debt. So that's important. You want to build your own sustainable systems that you will use and that your team will eventually use, and that makes sense for you and makes sense for your client. Make the transaction as smooth as possible. When you provide value, you make a good transaction, you will create a raving fan, and that's what leads to referral business. So building sustainable systems not only helps you keep on track, it helps you do more volume, it helps your clients be more satisfied. So if you don't have systems that you can turn around and say, this is how I do a transaction from from A to Z, then you need to start thinking about, you need to break down, what are you doing in your business? What things are getting dropped? Are any of my clients mad about anything? What adjustments can I make? And I'll go into that when I go into my automation section of this presentation. But the systems is what creates the ability to be automated. So if you don't have a system, you can never do the same thing twice, and that becomes chaotic and hectic where most realtors live. So instead of just being crazy, you're going to create sustainable systems. You're going to create scalability. Now, this is the thing that I was talking about with keeping your clients happy. Once you create your own and you don't copy from somebody else, and you create something bigger and better. Oh, I like what they're doing, but I could do X, Y, Z, and then do more business. Like when you build your own thing out of what your education has created, then that is a scalable business. I know that my systems and processes and common practices and standard practices that I have in my business, I could apply to any business. And I've proven this through putting it into a moving truck company that I now use, and a staging company that I now use, and a design company. So I've been able to help other companies, a car wash company, but we just talk and mastermind and come up with ways that applying a basic structure of a business to any business can work. And that's what's so great about masterminds, is you get to be involved with a bunch of different industries. Have passion. You need to have passion in your world. If you're working just for money and you don't, and that's not a passion. Money's not a passion. The things you do with money is your passion. The things you give back to the community with is your passion. The things you the money leads to the passion, sure, but you're passionate before any dollar signs are in your life. You have things that you're drawn to, what you love. I love teaching. I love problem solving. Funny enough, hand me a fire transaction and I'm in my happy place. I love building things. I love art. I building tables and things like that. I just love. There's a lot of passionate things in my life that I apply towards my business, so that I can see the pieces and parts of the world that would all interconnect, and make sure that I'm not just doing real estate, but I'm also able to feed my creative side by creating a staging company, and feed my side to want to provide value with a moving company, taking that moving company and moving my clients with my own team and my own strength. And we go and we help them do that. We go stage houses. We use the truck. So that part of it, when you're creating scalability, all of that goes into what's called like an operating manual. You're going to take opportunities. Don't wait. Don't know if you don't know how to do it. If you are presented an opportunity and you can see that being a benefit in your life, take the opportunity. Don't be scared. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And if you know me or you know anything about me, I'm involved with the real estate community, my local community, charity, things like that. And that goes back to that having passion section right there, where I have a passion for helping people. It makes me feel good. It's amazing to me that because I'm so successful, I can now go help other people be more successful, give money to charities, and give some of my influence to advocate for causes and charities and things like that. So the way that you can give back doesn't always have to be monetary. It can be with your time, and that's actually most of the time more valuable. Part of my history, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about part of my history, because my life story is actually inspiring, and it's what's made me the realtor I am today. It's what's made me the person I am today. So really quick, I just wanted to go through, I never imagined I would be successful like this. I've always just been really good at my job. I was a police officer. I got elected the president of the class. So I've always done good. But the success that I've been able to do in real estate has been amazing. So when I started in real estate, I was actually in after I was a transaction coordinator. When I was in the real estate school, actually, my baby was 6 months old when I started real estate school. So during breaks, I had to actually go pump milk so that when I got home, I could give it to the babysitter for the next day. So that led off my real estate career, kind of with a leg up on the rest of everybody else, because I was literally stuck in a back room, making food for my baby for the next day while everybody else is just in the lobby. I'm in there and I'm got note cards, and I'm making these systems so that I can create these note cards so that when I then go into the class, I already know the vocabulary, I already get the concept. It saves me so much time where I'm not like having to review the information. And then on top of that, I created a study guide on an online system called Cram, and I give it to my entire class, and I still give that study guide to people today who are having trouble passing the test. So that was like when I saw that I really loved helping people. I did the same thing in the police academy. I did the same thing in the Navy. I was always in leadership positions. And so sharing those with some other people, I realized that by sharing, I'm learning it better myself. I'm doing it better myself because I'm representing being the example. So when you're doing things and you're making an impact on the world, just make sure that you realize you are making an impact, and think about what makes you feel good and what could improve the world. And for me, it's teaching, it's leading, it's getting people more excited about charity and getting more excited about diversity and inclusion. Those are big things for me. The Young Professionals Network, I love that. I think it's great to see the young people getting involved in event planning and networking and learning their trade and actually being proud to know. So that is the beginning. So real estate school started my love for education. In my first year, I said I got 5 designations. I got my broker's license within 3 years. Every time there's a class or anything like that, I've been educating myself. I go to, when somebody wants to talk, I'm like, hey, I wanted to get onto YouTube. And I'll just go find somebody who's good at YouTube and then follow what they're doing, what they're looking at, see if they're speaking, stuff like that. And just be like a constant student in life. And if you're a constant student in life and you don't say, you know what, whatever, I sold almost $1 million in commission last year, I'm not going to go learn anything new. I would be taken over in this fast-paced world that we have within a couple of years. I could maybe coast for a little while without learning anything new or growing or thinking outside the box to solve problems for my clients. So that's one of the things that, like, when you're thinking outside the box to provide value, you want to make sure that, you know, you're giving the people what they need. Okay, graduated real estate school with a breeze and started real estate. I was a showing assistant. I did 6 open houses a week, and that's what got me into realizing that building the base of your clientele through an open house and through in-person interactions is honestly amazing. I was brand new, so I decided to start doing open houses in 55 plus communities because I figured, hey, I'm a veteran. They like veterans. Maybe it'll be an easier crowd. And I kind of just built my business through that. People like to see my hustle. They would use me as a secret. They come in as a secret shopper to my open houses. And I've gotten tons of listings by people just, you know, going in there and looking at me and seeing what I'm doing and what I'm providing, the energy that I'm bringing to the table. And when you're going into this business, everything's an education. You know, when you love education and you want to really learn, this is not a hobby. This is not a job. This is a career, and we're handling big things for our clients. We're handling big financial responsibilities. We're handling, you know, we're responsible for educating them about the transaction and make sure that they know what they're signing in the contract and stuff like that. So if you're not more educated than the average consumer, then you're not really a real estate agent. You're just out here with a hobby of selling some homes. You need to be more educated, more involved, and more committed to the real estate industry because it's your career and because we want to level up the industry to keep it around so that we can keep providing our clients with a service that they can see that is valuable. So once I got into creating my systems, that's the biggest thing. So the systems is what allowed me to get into the volume. So while it's not the sexy, like influencer, Instagram, taking pictures, making money, getting awards stuff, it is the stuff that gets you there. So I wanted to talk about my systems, which is my my checklists, first of all, my operating manual. From this, you can pay attention. If you're one, you just started, you have a team of 5, you have a team of 20, anything like that, I feel like you could still get a piece from here. So in your systems, when you write down everything you do in a transaction, don't do it as a surface job. Don't say, okay, this is the standard things that everybody says we do in a transaction. My brokerage has one of these printed out, so I'm just going to plug and play this. No, you build a system that works based off of making mistakes. That's why we have beta testers. That's why I have anything. So the checklist that I have is a living document. And within the document, it comes up, we have different sections of the transaction from showings to under contract to the Benzer period to, we break it down into the walkthrough after 1 month after. We have all these different sections, and in each section we have checklists. And most of the things on the checklist were not me just saying, oh, this is what I do, this is the job, XYZ. It's like something have come up and I've had to put out a fire, and now we're going to make a checklist to make sure I never have to put out that fire again. And I check and make sure that, you know, if something happened one time with a title policy, I didn't catch something, that went on the checklist. Check Schedule B, look at it. If you're not looking at Schedule B, you could come into some issues in the end, and you might be liable because you should have looked at Schedule B on the title insurance policy. Anyway, so we break it down in a very intellectual way, and also breaking down what you do step by step in a way where a person could pick up the checklist and pick up the manual, not knowing a thing about your systems or what you're using, and XYZ be able to go down the list and make it repeatable. This is what a scalable business is. A monkey could do this because I made it so easy. If you read all the words in this operating manual, you will make money and you will be scalable. You'll be able to do it. So when I was making my operating manual, I knew in my heart, I knew I was going to be big, because within 6 months of being in real estate, I've sold 20 houses and people started to talk about me, which is crazy. I can share my checklists because I think that's a good starting point for anybody, is to get a bunch of checklists and just say, okay, what works for me? And maybe even if you look at what people have done wrong, like the utilities. That's a fun one. That's a checklist. So I'm just trying to bring in your mind things that would make you think of something that might need to go on a checklist. So the utilities. I gave my keys to the buyer. They closed at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, at 5 o'clock at night, but I couldn't meet them until like 6 or 7. We closed really late in the day. So we meted them up, no electricity. Now, I was a newer agent, so I just figured everybody knows what I know. So I didn't think to say, hey, you're moving into a new house, you need to turn on utilities. So that happened one time, and I put it on in my checklist, and I made a template for the email that says, send utility email. Utility email says, hey, closing date is approaching. I just wanted to remind you to turn on or turn off, depending on if they're seller or buyer, your utilities the day of closing, period. If it's a seller, because there's 2 different templates. If it's a seller one, it just says like, make sure to have the utilities on until closing. This might cause a delay if you turn it off. And then you put on the bottom of both the email, the phone number or contact information of the company that is provided to them, and the phone number, because what our job is to make our client's job easier. I don't want them to I don't want to say turn on your utilities, and then that gets them all stressed out because they're like, who's the electric company? Who's the water company? We're just moving here. We don't know this stuff. So instead of just saying, no, make sure to turn on the utilities, I took it a few steps farther, and I provided a valuable piece of information in a document that makes it easy to read, so that my client all of a sudden just has to take out my cell phone, push the button for the electric company. I even put on their new address in that email. So making things easy and convenient and just like user friendly, basically. Think about it as if you're building some software. Like if you can't figure out how to get from here to there within the software, you're never going to work. So just make sure that your checklists are thorough. And that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to tell about you. So checklists are thorough, and start with the obvious things. The contract. Did we send the contract to the title and the lender? And to hand in hand with the checklist, everything in my checklist has a template email. So it saves minutes multiple times a day, hundreds of times a day sometimes. So therefore I have so much more free time. People are like, how do you do so much? I do so much cool stuff because I have systems in place to take care of my work stuff. So that's easy. It's not stressful. I'm not stressed out. I can manage it from anywhere that I'm at. All of my clients are communicated with and feel comfortable. Therefore, I get to travel, do fun things, build my speaking career going on, build my, my leadership with the associations, state and national level. Like I get to go do all that cool stuff because I put in the work on the front end of my business, of my real estate career. I put a lot of work on the front end. Therefore, I was able to not take 5 years to learn 5 years of information. I learned it in a year and then applied it across the board. So now I'm making, 150, 160 transactions a year. The last part I want to say is by being authentic, and when you're creating these and you're not stealing it from somebody else, the big piece of what I do is by being genuine, real, and authentic. And so when you're building your own checklist based off of your own experiences, it makes it more you. And so when you do anything, social media posting, systems, anything like that, make sure it's you, because if it's you, you're going to do it. So that's all.
Wow. I have to say, talking about being authentic and true and being real, I mean, Candy, you're showing up and showing out even after you're going through the things that you're going through as far as going through the whole COVID situation. Mm-hmm. And you're here to show up, you're here to serve, you're here to talk about what you've done to inspire someone else to be like, you know what, if she could do it, I could do it, and I can have 2022 be the best year I've ever had. And that's the intention, right? For us to help every single person who's here to really be able to level up and ask themselves, what is next? What is next for your business? Is it systems, processes, TikTok, video, being more authentic? So thank you so much, Candy, for all that wealth of knowledge.
The people that you inspire, that inspires you to do better. So it's amazing that I feel the people tell me that I inspire them. I'm like, go out there and do it. So I see a quick question. They're saying our checklist like task list. So could be, or it could be an entire system. So it just depends on if you're one person, you can use Excel, but there's all different levels, all different price points. But you can start off with literally a task list. and then grow from there to a checklist of your entire community and your entire business and how you run things.
So today, this keynote is sponsored by Liftoff Agent. So thanks to Liftoff Agent.